So what is up, guys? Welcome on back to TK's Garage. And, we've heard it. There's been a lot of back and forth between a lot of different channels. You have channels like myself and Truckmaster and Diesel Maniacs and a couple other different channels that are taking what EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin said at his word. And then you have that swing from the nuts of the California Air Resource Board. That's just what it is, man. And I just don't. I put it like this. I take what the administrator, the head of the Environmental Protection Agency, says at his word. I don't like, oh my God, he's got these type of shoes on and he's got on a Panama Jack shirt, so it must mean that he's not going to get rid of emission standards. Oh my God, this section is not redlined in 209 when the administrator said it would no longer apply to small cars and trucks. Oh my God, this isn't it. Needless to say, the EPA administrator did just jump on a podcast, and I want to run some of that for you here in just a moment. But first, we're going to get into a quick word from our sponsors, and we're going to jump straight into that clip. You ever Googled yourself just to see what pops up? Yeah, I did that, and it was way more than I expected. Old addresses, phone numbers, name of my family members, just floating around for anyone to find. I mean, even your home address. It's crazy. That's because of this thing called data brokers. These companies, they scoop up your info from everywhere. Public records, random websites, even stuff you didn't know or knowingly shared. And then they sell it. They sell it to marketers, scammers, trolls, telemarketers. They buy all the data. I'm not cool with that. So I signed up for a company called Delete Me. They go and find all your personal information across all these sketchy sites and get it removed. Plus, they keep monitoring because new stuff keeps popping up. Here's a peek at my Delete Me report. I'm going to cut over here to the dashboard so you can see it. And you can see exactly where they've scrubbed my data and how they're keeping tabs on it. It's been a solid move for me. I've got peace of mind knowing that my info is not just floating around anymore. If you want to lock down your privacy, which I highly recommend, go to joindeleteme.com/TK's Garage. That link gets you 20% off, and I'm going to drop it here below. Oh yeah, and yes, this video is sponsored by Delete Me, but I actually use it myself, like I showed you. I wouldn't tell you about it if I didn't.
Welcome back. The EPA announcing a fix to diesel exhaust fluid guidance aimed at helping America's farmers, truckers, and equipment operators. Joining me now live from the Iowa State Fair is EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin and U.S. Small Business Administrator Kelly Loeffler. Great to have you both here. Thank you so much for being here. And Lee, I want to kick things off with you. Tell us about DEF, diesel exhaust fluid. What is the issue, and what are you trying to fix?
Maria, as I travel the country, I've been hearing from truck drivers and farmers complaining about DEF, asking, demanding, pleading for a fix. What happened about a decade and a half ago in putting this new DEF system into place, the diesel exhaust fluid system to combat nitrous oxide, is that in order to create an inducement, in order to get people to comply, there'd be this massive deratement in the engine. So all of a sudden, whether it is because you don't have fluid in or just the system's not working, within 4 hours, your vehicle, your engine's now going down to 5 miles per hour. So think heavy-duty trucks, off-road equipment, motor coaches, heavy-duty pickups. They out of nowhere, were going at 5 miles per hour, basically shut off. Farmers pulling their hair out and for so long pleading for a solution, but unfortunately that hasn't been coming. Well, today, working closely with SBA Administrator Kelly Loeffler, we are so excited to be able to make this announcement to get these manufacturers finally to fix these deratements. The farmers are going to be thrilled. The truck drivers are going to be thrilled. Couldn't happen soon enough.
Because Kelly, I mean, the bottom line is it's small business who's really being impacted, right? As Lee just said, farms, trucking companies, construction companies have been dealing with this for years.
You're absolutely right, Maria, and I want to congratulate Administrator Zeldin for getting this big win for farmers. I grew up on a family farm. This has been a tremendous burden on the farming community, on truckers, to have to deal with this massive green new scam regulation. And what's happening today is just another step in the Trump agenda in deregulation, in having fair trade, in cutting taxes. This is real results for the American people and for American farmers. And this is long overdue, and I'm so grateful to President Trump for his leadership for farm families, for truckers, for hardworking Americans that rely on these heavy-duty equipment for trucks, for tractors, and really solving this massive problem that's going to result in $727 million every single year in savings for farm families.
So, I mean, is it really heavy-duty trucks that have seen the impact? Tell me about the engines and how they've performed and how things will be different.
So there's been a lot of malfunctions through the years where all of a sudden you are driving your tractor and now it's going down to 5 miles per hour. Driving a motorhome and it's going down to 5 miles per hour. And that's why the complaints have just bubbled up exponentially, because they plead to bureaucrats in Washington to fix this. And for the last decade and a half, the fix hasn't come in. We've seen this now over the course of the first 6 months, 7 months at EPA, where we have been dealing with issues that might seem small to some Americans, but they are massive issues for millions of others. The DEF system is one. The announcement to fix and get rid of the start-stop feature, to be able to improve the flow of water through valves. These announcements are big deals for a lot of Americans who just want common sense in government. And today, this is a big common sense announcement that Americans are going to be happy with.
Yeah. So Kelly, I mean, look, at the end of the day, when you are dealing with that kind of regulation, I mean, this is the kind of deregulation that small business can actually expect to move the needle on growth and productivity. Isn't that right?
Absolutely, Maria. Look, the Small Business Administration, one of our objectives is to deregulate for disproportionate, excessive regulation that impacts small businesses. This is just one more step. I'm grateful to Lee for his hard work on that. We're going to continue to do this. This is just a start. But farm families have been disproportionately overregulated for more than a decade. This is a great start. Small businesses across the country are already benefiting from President Trump's commitment to deregulation. There's going to be more on top of lower inflation, on top of lower taxes, on top of fair trade. The Trump administration is going to continue to deliver win after win for small businesses. So
how would you assess the small business community today in the last 6 months, Kelly? What do you want to say about small business and the growth? That's where the growth in jobs really is in the country.
Absolutely. Our small businesses in America, 34 million of them represent 99% of all businesses. They create the majority of new jobs. And today, the NFIB just came out with a survey showing 5-year small business optimism. That's above its 51-year average. And again, that's the president's agenda at work on Main Street. No one fights harder for Main Street, for small businesses, for hardworking Americans than our president. And I'm just grateful to stand shoulder to shoulder with Administrator Zeldin to get the work done for President Trump every single day.
And Lee, you can do this while also protecting the environment.
Amen. On the 100th day of President Trump's term in office, at the EPA, we released 100 environmental actions we took in those 100 days. Well, last week was the 200th day of President Trump's term in office, and we released the next list of 100 environmental actions that we took over the course of the second 100-day period. We are choosing to protect the environment and grow the economy. This is not a binary choice.
All right. Well, thank you both for your efforts. Administrators Kelly Loeffler and Lee Zeldin. Great to see you both. Thank you so much. We'll be watching.
All right, I'll see if we can do this without getting interrupted by my maps or dumbasses driving. But anyways, so as you can see there, I take what the EPA administrator says at his word, right? And think about this. If this means nothing, if nothing changes, nothing's going to change for new cars and trucks. Nothing's going to change for farm equipment. Nothing's going to change for diesel trucks. Nothing's going to change for cars, like some of these dumbass YouTube channels are saying, right? If nothing at all, nothing is going to change, then why is the administrator saying it's going to instantly save American consumers thousands of dollars because manufacturers will no longer have to comply with this fake fairy dust BS? It doesn't exist. So yeah, I made it back. You can see the baby Beamers right there. The M5 is parked in the attached garage, and the STS is right here. I saw a YouTuber, before I shot the other clip that you saw here in today's video, only play a part of that Lee Zeldin interview. And that's why I ran the full interview for context, because Lee Zeldin and the SBA administrator said this is just a starting point. See, this is how you know that either these other YouTube channels are getting some kind of benefit, maybe from the government, to talk negatively about deregulation, or maybe they're just meat riders. I don't know. But I wanted to address that before we get out of here, because it is fairy dust. The emission standards will no longer exist. Anywho's, you probably saw my guy Truckmaster just posted a video. If it is already live, I'm going to tag it in the description. We actually had a discussion. That is a guy that actually actively works on diesel trucks, and I think those guys probably know the law a little bit better when it comes to diesel mechanics and what's involved with that than somebody that repairs smog equipment. But that's just me. That's just me. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Major shout out to our sponsors today, Delete Me, for sponsoring today's video. And yeah, you know, we're gonna cover this. I'm gonna stay on top of it. And you know, I thought it was funny to see these YouTube channels be like, "See, look, they're keeping deaf. They just made them unlock the ECUs." Yeah, this is just the first step. It's just a step, another step in the complete deregulation of emissions. But some people just don't get it. Anyways, until next time, thank you guys very much for watching. And yes, I'm actually in my garage with all my M stuff. Stay petty, my friends.